there's a shot of the cheapest tents we could find to camp in for the night. So we've come down to the river and we've brought a bucket, a bottle and a cup. And the idea is we're going to test out filtering some water. And up on this bank, all the sand's been building up. It's fairly clean and fine. So we're going to grab some of this sand. It's not too bad. The next thing we need is some gravel, because we're going to do layers of charcoal, sand, gravel and maybe some grass. That'll help filter the water out. So we come across this old fire pit and it has a burnt out log with plenty of charcoal on it. So we're going to take that log back to our camp and chip some charcoal off and use it for the filter. There's a couple of clumps of dead grass growing around here, so I'm going to grab some of that for the filter. The next survival hack we want to try is a primitive candle or a primitive torch. Let's get the ingredients for that and give it a go. We found a couple of pine cones here. We're going to grab them and use them for the primitive torch. I'm not sure if you can even see that, but there's little droplets of sap coming out of this pine tree. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and scrape some off with our knives and collect it onto this piece of paper bark. That way we can use the pine cones and the resin, the sap, to make a fire torch. So we've got the two fork sticks stabbed in. I'm going to put this little stick across there like that, and then when we cut the bottle off, I'll stab a hole in it and we can hang it like that to filter out the water. See how clean we can get it. It's getting dark. There's the fire pit. There's a shot of all the things we collected for the water filter and the fire torch. But here's the setup. We've got the bottle cut with the stick going through it. We've got the holes in the lid. Over this side, we've got the stick set up where we're going to hang the bottle. Next, what we've got to do is fill it with these various ingredients that we got earlier. Beautiful afternoon. Probably hard to see, but we got the filter set up, the stick set up. Let's hang it there. Morning guys, there's the tents we stayed in, got the fire going. There's a shot of my tent, my brother's tent. There's my brother. So there's a shot of the water filter we rigged up. We're going to put that to the test today. There's a shot of the things we need to make a fire torch. We're going to get that one together and give that a test out today. Back down at the creek with the bucket, what we're going to do is get some of this dirty water, take it back to camp and try and filter it out. See how well the filter works. I'm not sure if the camera is picking up all that scum on top of the water, but it's definitely filthy. It'll be a good test for the water filter. Beauty. Let's go back to camp, filter this out, see how clean it gets. We had to get some longer fork sticks because the other ones were too low. But anyway, we've got it filled up with water. And as you can see, it's dripping down. It's looking fairly clear compared to the water we originally started off with. But what we're going to do is wait till that cup fills up, see how good it worked out. There's the torch we've been building. We've got some sticks in the end to hold it open. A bit of homemade twine or rope wrapped around the base there to stop it splitting all the way down. Now we just got to get a pine cone, stick that in there and cover it with pine sap resin. So if you look here on this pine tree, you can see these lumps of sap leaking out. What we're going to do is chip some of that off and add it to the resin for the pine cone torch, the primitive torch we're building. Beauty. Let's go melt that up and put it on a pine cone. I've cut the top off this can, and what we're going to do is stick these pieces of resin we collected earlier into here, put it on the fire and try and melt it. And then once it's melted, we're going to try and coat one of these pine cones in it and stick it into the end of the torch there. Then we're going to light it up, see how long it burns for, see how well it actually works. Tell you what, this pine sap, it's super sticky. I've got that filled up. It's got a bit of bark and leaves in there, but that should be right. Let's stick this in the fire, get it melted. So we collected some big pine cones and little pine cones. We're going to go with the little one and test that out first. So it's fairly melted. I'm going to try and get some of this resin into the pine cone without burning myself. I'm not sure the best technique, but this is what we're going with at the moment. That melted well, that last bit. Super sticky, this stuff. There's a primitive fire torch set up. We've got the pine cone in there, coated with resin, the wood split, the binding to stop it splitting all the way down. Let's light it on fire and see how long it lasts, to see if you could use it in a practical application. So here's an update on the survival water filter. We've been letting it drip for a while, and the results are, it looks about the same. So what we might have to do is flush it out more or come up with a better idea. 9:20. Let's light this fire torch and see how long it burns for. Okay, so the first problem we've come across is this resin is really hard to light. So we're going to have to come up with a better idea. Maybe wrap some sort of material around it, some sort of leaves or something to help it light easier. Okay, stage 2. We got some pine needles soaked in sap, wrapped around. Hopefully that'll catch on fire. Let's give it a go. Yeah, this seems to be working a lot better than the first time. It was 9:25 when we lit the fire torch, so we're going to keep an eye on it, time how long it burns for. So there's the cheap tents we slept in last night. They're only about 15 bucks from our local shop. I'll give you a look inside. The trouble with these is they're not very long, and you got to lay from corner to corner, and I'm too long to lay straight. So we've had it going for 2 minutes. It hasn't gone out. We're hoping that resin catches on fire more. This is just a trial, just an experiment. If you know how to get these fire torches working really well, put it down in the comments. Give us some tips. Let me know how you do it. "9:31. It's been burning for around 5-6 minutes. Hasn't gone out yet. "9:35. And the fire torch has just gone out. So we got about 10 minutes out of that pine cone fire torch. I'm sure we could do better after learning what we did from this experiment. Put it in the comments. Let me know what works best for you. So we've come to the conclusion on our water filter, and it seems about the same as the water we collected. If you know a better way to make a water filter or any tips for us, on filtering water, put it in the comments. I'd love to know. This is just an experiment, a way for me to learn. Time to pack up. It's getting late. We've experimented with the water filter. We've learnt a few things. We've experimented with the fire torch. We learned a few things there. We had a good night. We didn't get wet. Those cheap tents, they're okay. We're gonna have to test them in the rain. That'll be a good test. Anyway guys, we're gonna pack up. Hilux is all loaded up, all packed up, no trace. Let's get in the Hilux and get out of here.